Hello, everybody. My name is Max, and welcome to another B2 First speaking lesson. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at a lot of examples for part two. Basically, we're going to take a look at every languages that we can use because we talked about a lot of languages, strategies, everything about part two. Now we're going to take a look at real examples. We're going to take a look at least 9 to 10 different pictures, which you have to also pause the video before we take a look at the answers. You have to try to practice this. So this is a very good practice. Of course, if you want, you can just watch the video to the end, and then after that, you can practice. But I recommend before we taking a look at the answer, try to test yourself, try to a little bit practice with the pictures and see whether you can answer the questions pretty well or not. And after that, you can take a look at a really good answer for each picture, and you can compare your answer with our answer in this course. So without any hesitation, let's begin. All right, so let's take a look at this picture. Now, I want you to ignore the answer first. Just try to take a look at the question and the pictures. It says, what is enjoyable about communicating in these ways? Now, I want you to think about those steps that we talked about. Who are they? Where are they? What are they doing? And also answering the question and using all those languages that I taught you related to speculations, comparing differences, and all the things that we mentioned. I want you to pause the video and try to take a look at your answer and try to create your answer. And after that, we can take a look at our answer. So you can also, for example, let me just cover this part so that you don't feel really bad. So you can covering this part so you can start. Okay, did you finish? Very good. Now let's take a look at the answers that we have here. It says comparing the photos. So we can say these are languages, these are the answers, okay? These are not lessons, these are the real answers that you can say in order to compare the pictures. For example, you can say in the first photo, there's a girl who looks as if she's chatting on the internet or sending an email. Whereas or while in the second photo, two oldish people are sitting together on a park bench and gossiping or telling each other stories. You see the languages here? We have a lot of good languages like whereas, while, oldish, park bench, gossiping. These are all good words. I think that while the first photo shows that you can have a good time communicating electronically with your friends all over the world, the second photo shows that traditional forms of communication with friends are best because you're face to face and can laugh together and look into each other's eyes and hold hands. Again, you can see the differences we're comparing. The next one. I think the girl might be talking to a friend about his schoolwork, which is always more fun than doing his schoolwork on your own. Or she may be gossiping about her teachers. On the other hand, the old people are probably talking about their grandchildren and having a laugh about things their grandchildren do. Or they could be talking about things they did when they were younger. Now, similarities. In both photos, the people are probably communicating with friends, and that's usually fun. However, in the first photo, the girl may feel a little distant from her friends, which is a pity, whereas in the second photo, the two people probably have a close, warm relationship. As you can see, we took look at a lot of different aspects of this photo, and we try to also answer the question somehow with these comparison that we did. You can also try to speculate about the pictures, which right now we're going to do. So let's see how we can speculate. Talking about the possibilities using the languages that we learned. We can, for example, say in the first photo, I can see a girl who looks as if she's chatting on the internet. Whereas or while in the second photo, two old people are sitting together on a park bench and gossiping. So look at the language for speculation. Looks as if. This is a very good language. Try to use it. Try to practice the way that this sentence is structured with other pictures, okay? Just bring this example, put it in the other sentences, and you can see how easy it is to create sentences. While the girl seems to be concentrating hard, perhaps because she's writing, the old people seem to be relaxed and enjoying themselves. I think this is because they're together and can see each other. Again, perhaps, speculation. I think the girl might be talking to a friend about his schoolwork or boyfriends. On the other hand, the old people are probably talking about their grandchildren, or they could be talking about things they did when they were younger. You see how you can easily add some speculations, some languages referring to speculations easily into your sentences. So it's not a difficult thing. You can use could be, perhaps, probably, it looks as if, I think, it might be. So these languages can be easily, you can put them in your sentences and you can speculate easily. Now, let's take a look at these pictures here. What I want you to do is, I want you to take a look at these pictures and look at the question. The question says, how might the people feel in these situations? Now, as you can see, there are many topics that you can talk about. Question says, how might? Again, when you see might, we said a speculation is necessary. So you can talk about, for example, these topics. Here are some examples. For example, you can say, what's happening? You can talk about what's happening there. You can say where it's happening. Remember what's where. And how the people feel, why they feel like that, their age, their clothes, people in the background. So these are all the topics that you can talk. Now, I want you to pause the video again with the topics down below. Try to create your own answer, okay, for about a minute. Try to look at the pictures and prepare yourself. Pause the video, use the topics, and talk for about a minute. Record your voice while you're doing it. And then I'm going to show you another answer for this picture, okay? Very good. Did you do it? Fantastic. Now let's take a look at a sample answer. Let's listen to it. Also, you can read as we are, let's say, listening.
Well, both are about the media, but one of them is taking place in a studio and the other outdoors. There are two people in the studio and they are sitting while those in the street are standing. And another difference is that the TV presenter has some notes to refer to, whereas the reporters are simply listening, as the woman gives an explanation of what happened. She has a sad expression on her face, and the reporters look quite serious too. But in the studio, both the people there are smiling and seem relaxed. Of course, that interview is for entertainment, and the other one is for a news story. There's also the fact that their appearance is different, not just because those in the studio are younger, also because they're wearing indoor clothes. As well as that, there are some other people in the street, though they aren't taking any notice of them. But in the studio, there's probably an audience who are enjoying the interview.
Very good, very good. So you can see the woman was talking about possibilities, comparing the pictures at first, talking about the things, for example, the places where, and then what are they doing? Who are they? There are two people in the studio and they are sitting while, what are they? Who are they? And what are they doing in this sentence? Both at the same time. While those in the street are standing, and try to compare it with the word while, connecting two sentences, comparing them with the word while in order to connect them. Then it says, and another differences. So she said one and then another one, adding more points. Remember, we talked about the languages that you can use in order to add more, let's say, similarities and differences. Here you go. And again, talking about the TV presenter, how they might feel in these situations. She has a sad expression on her face, and the reporter looked quite serious too. But in the studio, both are smiling, so you can see that they're like comparing the sadness, and the other picture, they're kind of happy, they're having fun, or probably laughing about something, so you can compare that. Also, there's also the fact that their appearance is different, talking about the clothes and a little bit about the outdoor and indoor clothes. And again, adding more points. As well as that, there are some other people in the street though, so talking about more, adding more points about the background, people in the background, and that's going to be 1 minute and really good answer. Okay, now let's go to another one. So here are two pictures as well we have here. Now, what I want you to do is, we don't have any, let's say, question here for these pictures. I want you to try to find as many similarities and differences as you can. Pause the video, try to find similarities about, I don't know, about the indoors, outdoor, clothes, whatever that you can. Try to find, if you can, try to find at least 5 similarities, 5 differences in these two pictures. And after that, I'm going to tell you what kind of similarities and differences you can find. You're going to start. Okay, did you finish? Fantastic. So now let's take a look at some of the things that you can talk and you can, let's say, compare. For example, both probably for TV, they're doing something for TV, or both show cameras and camera operators, which we can see. Both show people concentrating on their work. Both programs probably being recorded. Probably hot in both situations because based on the clothes that they're wearing, it's hot. TV crew have to keep quiet in both situations. Outdoors, indoor differences, or in a studio. 1 person here, 4 persons here. Crew sitting and hiding here. Crew standing and clearly visible. Here dressed for outdoor heat in shorts, and here dressed for urban indoors. Here subjects are animals, but here are actors. Here they are unaware they are being filmed, and here they are aware that they are being filmed. Here potentially dangerous situation, and here is a safe situation. So all of this can give you a lot of sentences using all those languages that we talked about and bring them into the reality and try to create sentences and talking about the pictures. And you can, for example, the question can be here like, how might people be feeling in these situations? Question can be something like that, and you can just talk about it and just put all these languages easily into your answer. Now, let's take a look at another picture. So here is another picture showing different things, people probably buying something in different markets. Now, what I want you to do is, we've got an answer, a complete answer for this picture. And we've got some really good languages in order to connect some sentences, in order to compare the pictures. We've got so many good languages, such as both, in contrast, in the same way, main, similarly, most obvious difference, nearly as nice as, whereas, while. I want you to pause the video right now, read this description, and after that, come back and try to put these languages into correct positions. And then we're going to take a look at the answers fully, and we're going to see how beautiful the answer will be after you adding all these languages. Okay, did you do it? Fantastic. Now let's take a look at the answer and see what it says. So it says the main similarity between the two pictures is that they both show shopping or people shopping. The most obvious difference is where the people are shopping. The first picture shows 2 men window shopping. It appears to be an expensive shoe shop. Whereas, or while the people in the second picture look as if, remember again, the picture look as if they are at a market of some kind. The market doesn't look nearly as nice as the shoe shop. It's true. It could be a secondhand clothing stall. The men in the first picture look like they're relaxed In contrast, the woman in the second picture looks serious. The woman in the first picture might be on a day out, while or whereas the woman in the second picture could be shopping out of necessity. It's difficult to say whether the man in the first picture will actually buy the shoes they are looking at. In the same way, we don't know whether the woman at the market will buy anything either. So you see, just adding these languages will make your answer way more beautiful. Using language like nearly as nice as, in contrast, to talk about the differences. The most obvious difference, main similarity. You can just copy this language. You can say the main similarity between two pictures is blah, 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 blah. So based on any picture you have, you can just create your answers. Just copying half of these sentences as there you go. You have your answer. Okay, another one. And we've got some pictures again here. Now, what I want you to do again is the same. Try to look at the question, which is what are the people enjoying about each of these sports? And I want you to pause the video. You can also think about it for 30 seconds. Remember, in the exam, you don't have that time. But try to prepare yourself, all the languages that we talked about. And then we're going to take a look at some languages we can use and also an answer. Okay, did you do it? Fantastic. So let's take a look at some contrasting words that we can use in order to compare these pictures. For example, we can say both photos show sports, but they are very different. We can also say in the first photograph, the people are actually doing this sport, while or whereas in the second, the people are watching. Or you can say the people in the first photo are different ages, while whereas they are very different. Or the next one, the people playing golf are a family. On the other hand, the football fans are quite young, or maybe friends, something like that. So you can see, I just compared some of the ideas here, which was not a very difficult thing. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a real answer with examiner talking at first. So let's take a look at this answer and see what they say.
Pedro, it's your turn first. Here are your photographs. They show people enjoying sports in different situations. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say what it is that the people are enjoying about each of the sports.
Yes, okay. In the first photo, there are some people playing golf. They're carrying bags with golf. I don't know the exact name of this equipment. Maybe they are golf sticks or something like that. And the second photo shows some spectators at home watching a football match. Both photographs show sports, but they are very different. One big difference is that in the first photograph, the people are actually doing the sport, while in the second, the people are watching, not taking part. And another difference is that the people in the first photo are different ages, whereas the football fans are all men and quite young. To answer the question, I think the people playing golf are enjoying playing together. But it's not too serious, you know, they're just having fun together. On the other hand, the people watching the football match are enjoying the excitement of the game and the feeling of being a part of a group. It's a good feeling, but only if their team wins, of course. In my opinion, they take the sport seriously. Well, they're definitely more passionate than the people playing golf.
Thank you, Pedro.
Very good. So you can see the answer. At first, he was a little bit not sure what to say, a little bit like repeating and making some, let's say, minor mistakes, which is fine because he's trying to correct himself whenever he's just making a mistake. For example, enjoying the excitement. You see, you can use I mean and then correct yourself. It's pretty easy to do that. It's not a difficult thing, but not all the time. If you're making a lot of mistakes, definitely you have to try to work on that before going to exam. But sometimes out of, let's say, nervousness, probably you make some mistakes, and that's completely normal and fine. And you can just correct it with I mean. If you just realize you made a mistake, just don't worry, correct it and move on and just continue, just like Pedro. And as you can see, he just compared the pictures. He also answered the questions pretty well and tried to use lots of languages referring to his opinion. For example, in my opinion, or here, I think. So this is very good to use languages that is referring to your opinion. We talked about a lot of languages in the past in the lesson that we had. So you can use all of those languages whenever you want to talk about your opinion. You can also repeat this video again if you want to watch it again. If you want to listen again, not a problem. So try to practice more, because we're going to go to the next video right now, or next, let's say, picture. Now, here is another picture. It shows people doing different things together. So the question is, how can the people benefit from spending their free time doing these different activities? Okay, again, I want you to pause the video, 1 minute timer, put it in front of yourself, try to answer the question with all the languages that we talked about in the past. And after that, we're going to take a look at a real answer. You can start. All right, did you finish? Fantastic. So let's take a look at the answer. So I'm going to play the audio file, try to listen and check.
In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you 2 photographs. I'd like you to talk about your photographs on your own for about a minute, and also to answer a question about your partner's photographs. Martina, it's your turn first. Here are your photographs. They show people doing different activities in their free time. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say how you think the people can benefit from spending their free time doing these different activities. All right?
Well, in the first photo, there's a group of children, both boys and girls, playing football together in the park. They don't seem to be taking the game too seriously, and they seem to be enjoying themselves. I think they benefit from this in several ways. Firstly, they're getting some exercise, which is always good for you because it's great for your health and helps you to relax. At the same time, they're having fun together, which is important because it builds up their social relationships and their friendships. Also, it's good to see boys and girls doing a bit of sport together instead of separately, because I think it helps break down social boundaries between boys and girls. In the second photo, there are 4 girls chatting together in a cafe and laughing. They aren't so active as the children in the first photo because they're not doing a sport, but they are probably communicating more and sharing their ideas and experiences. I think they also benefit because they can talk about their problems, relax, and also enjoy their friendship. All in all, I think they get a lot from both activities.
Very good, very good. So as you can see, what she did it a little bit different from the previous ones that we checked. First, she tried to, let's say, in this part, she tried to talk about the first photo. And after that, in this part, she went for the second photo. Now, is this okay? Am I going to lose point if I do this? No, you're not going to lose point as long as it looks like a comparison. You remember what you mentioned here and you can compare it with things that you're saying down here. So it's completely fine to do this, but harder. From my perspective, is a bit harder, but it's another way. Some students are comfortable with this one. Some students are comfortable talking about both pictures at the same time, which I recommend talking about, let's say, both of them at the same time. it is easier. It gives you, let's say, a little bit more flexibility to use more languages because you have two pictures rather than one to focus. And you can just easily create more and more and more languages at the same time, rather than just talking about one picture and moving to the second picture. Sometimes you don't have time to answer the question in that situation. So it's completely possible to do it this way, but the other way, I think from my personal experience, it's easier, but not a big problem. Now you can see they use a lot of good vocabulary here, using good grammatical structures, such as, for example, using relative clauses, which is important because it builds up social relationships, friendship, and it says see boys and girls doing a bit of sport together instead of separately, because I think helps break down social boundaries. You see, there are very good languages here that they're using. And then the second picture talking about other things, other aspects of doing the sports together, which is also fantastic. And now let's go to the next picture and see what else we have. Okay. Now, another picture that we have here is referring to different people doing different jobs here. For example, she's waitress and this one is a coach. Now, you have to answer this question. What are the people learning from doing these two types of work? So probably they're gaining different experience. Like, let's say, for example, this girl, you can talk about, first of all, you have to talk about what you see in the picture, right? Remember, we said at the same time comparing, and you can speculate at the same time. Like, it looks as if the coach is trying to, for example, organize all the kids, whereas in the first picture, the girl looks as if she's, for example, getting the order, and then just move on to the next part. Where are they? What are they doing? Who are they? You can just use all these languages. But remember, it's better to start with the one that looks logical. For example, first start with their jobs, then start with the place, and then what they're doing. So it has some kind of a logical order, and then you move on to the question and the things that they're learning. So pause the video again, please, and try to practice with this. Again, if you don't want to practice, not a problem. If you think it's enough for you for today, no problem. You can come back again the next day and try to pause the video here and practice with this picture. So now let's take a look at the answer. Okay. Also take a look at all the underlining, because this is also very good. They use a lot of good languages here so that you can use them in the future. So let's listen.
Here are your photographs. They show young people doing jobs. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say what you think the people are learning from doing these two types of work.
Well, okay. So, firstly, I can say that both photos show young people, perhaps teenagers, working. Both the jobs in the photos involve working in situations where they need good skills in dealing with people in the correct way. I'm sure neither of them is very well paid. Anyway, the first photo shows a girl serving young people in a restaurant, whereas in the second photo, a boy is working with children and coaching them to play football. The girl's job may be full-time, whereas the boy's is probably part-time. I think both can learn a lot from these jobs. The girl can learn how to keep customers happy, while the boy has to keep children in order. The girl has to learn to work efficiently under pressure. On the other hand, the boy has to learn to keep cool. He'll probably learn not just to deal with children, but also their parents.
Thank you. Antonia, which of these jobs would you prefer to do?
I prefer to coach children than work in a restaurant because really I enjoy being in the fresh air more than being indoors. And I like kids.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. You can also see the follow-up question here, which is which of these jobs would you prefer to do? So you can talk about which job you prefer, why, and if you want, you can make an example as well. So look at the languages here, for example, starting with firstly. Both pictures show, talking about similarity, both the jobs in the photos involve blah, 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 blah. I'm sure neither of them is well paid. Anyway, the first picture or first photo shows, again, blah, 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 blah. Whereas in the second photo, blah, 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 blah. Whereas the boy, you see, of course, instead of whereas, you can use while as well, or other languages. You don't need to repeat one language a lot and a lot, a lot. But again, it's not a big problem if you use this, because these are like connecting sentences together, but it's better to use other languages, because I just gave you tons of languages for in order to compare, so it's not necessary to just use one language. The next one, I think both can, again, talking about similarities. On the other hand, and again, other language, not just to deal with children, but also, very good language, not only, but also. So these are pretty good languages. You can easily copy them and try to put them in your own answers. And you can see that he talked about paid as well. He says not well paid, part-time job, or it's like, for example, it's not very well paid. So you can talk about a lot of different things around it, and whether they are keeping the customers happy here or here. There's trying to organize all the kids, probably learning how to work under pressure. So a lot of good vocabulary as well, you can see, which is really helpful to just copy some of them in your own test. Let's go to the next picture. Again, here it shows people doing different, let's say, activities. What I want you to do again is take a look at these question and pictures. And the question says, why have the people decided to do these activities? So you have to talk about their motivation here and try to speculate, because you're not sure why they're doing it, right? So try to talk about, for example, their passion, their motivation, adrenaline rush probably, or whatever that you feel like they're doing it, helping people, for example, or something like that. And after that, try to first try to compare and then answer the question. But right now you can pause the video again. You can practice for 1 minute, record your voice, and then we're going to take a look at our answer. We can start. Okay, did you finish? Fantastic. Let's take a look at the answer and see what this one says.
Here are your photographs. They show young people doing difficult activities. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say why you think the people have decided to do these activities. All right?
The first photo shows young people walking up a mountain. They seem to be tied together with ropes, and they must be resting, or perhaps they've been waiting for one of the group to catch them up. They may be part of an adventure activity which they're doing from their school or college, and they may have been climbing for quite a long time. The second photo shows a different situation. The girl seems to be working with equipment in a factory. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but she could be building a machine or something. There's a man who appears to be supervising her. The girl in the first photo may have decided to climb the mountain because she wants a new experience, or she just enjoys being in the mountains, even though she looks a bit tired. The girl in the second photo looks as if she's starting a new job and learning to do something. She looks as if she's quite warm from her work, unlike the girl in the first photo.
Very good. So we can see a lot of speculations here. As I mentioned, because we're not sure exactly what they're doing, so why they're doing it. So speculation can be really helpful and gonna get you some easy points in this part. They seem to be, must be resting. Perhaps they've been waiting. Or here, for example, the girl seems to be. I'm not sure what exactly or exactly what she's doing. She could be building. See, you're not sure exactly what they're doing. So paraphrasing is going to help you here. Just try to explain what she's doing. If you don't know what exactly she's using, what exactly she's holding, no problem. Describe it. Like she could be building a machine. There's a man who appears to be supervising her. The girl in the first photo may have decided, again, using a speculation here, may have decided, I'm not sure, may have decided to climb the mountain because she wants a new experience, or she just enjoys being in the mountains, even though she looks a bit tired. Again, using another language. The girl in the second photo looks as if, again, you see the language, how many times we used it? She's starting a new job and blah, 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 blah. Then the last one, she looks as if, again, another time. She's quite warm from her work, unlike the girl in the first photo. So easily you can use the language unlike here to show the differences and talking about a lot of speculations. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, now again, we've got a couple of families here that they're doing different things, and look at the places they are, look at the activities they're doing. You can talk about the place, you can talk about the number, you can talk about the activity, the place, a lot of different things, indoor, outdoor, urban area, suburb, rural town, probably populated area, crowded area, or they're living in a densely populated urban area. You can see just using all these adjectives. Or the first photo, for example, they are in a rural town, a peaceful town, or something like that, which is far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. And all these languages would be helpful in this part. But what you have to do is comparing the pictures and answering what is it like for the people to live in each of these places. So you have to talk about their situation of living. First, you have to compare just like the way I did, and then talking about this. Again, try to pause the video right now, practice for about a minute, compare the pictures, and then after that, we're going to take a look at a sample answer. All right, did you do it? Fantastic. Now let's listen. Let's check and listen what they are saying.
Peter, it's your turn first. Here are your photographs. They show two different places to live. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say what you think it is like for the people to live in each of these places. All right?
Okay. The first photo shows a traditional country cottage with the occupants, a family, standing in the garden where they grow their own vegetables, whereas the second photo shows a young family living in a smart luxury flat with a view of the city. I guess both photos show a lifestyle which the people have chosen and which they like, so for both families it must be very pleasant to live where they do. Living in the country cottage must be very peaceful, with very little stress, no pollution and plenty of physical work, healthy organic food and fresh air. On the other hand, living in the city flat might be quite exciting because you're at the center of things, with entertainment and friends close by. I think the first photo shows a way of life where money and success in your career are not so important as being close to nature and the countryside. The people living in this sort of environment probably have plenty of time to spend together. The family in the second photo must need to earn quite a lot of money to maintain their lifestyle, which is probably busier and more stressful.
Thank you. Martina, which place would you choose to live in?
I'd choose the city flat because I can only fulfill my ambitions in the city, so I'd have to live there as well.
Thank you. Now here are your photographs.
Okay. So as you can see, of course, we put the answer for the second one as well, so you could listen to the answer of the question, follow-up question as well. But here, what we're going to focus on is the languages that they used, which is referring to the topic. So as I mentioned, it's not all about comparing and speculations. It's also about using some related vocabulary. Like you have to check what kind of languages is related to this topic, what kind of words I can use, which is 100% related to this topic. so that I can just put those words and vocabulary into the concept of what I'm saying. So if it's about, for example, places, you can use a lot of languages like this: traditional country cottage, smart luxury flat, or this one is, for example, very peaceful, or there is no, for example, pollution, plenty of physical work, healthy organic food. So these are all the vocabulary that is related to the topic. Or here, for example, to maintain their lifestyle, which is probably busier and more stressful. So all the languages are referring to the situation where they're living. And also somehow you're answering the question with those languages. Okay. Now, what I want you to do right now is, after this video, there's another lesson which I put almost, I think, more than 20 more exercise just like this, which you can go there and start practicing with them. Try to record your voice every time you're doing. Have a checklist next to yourself. The checklist should be like this. You have to say, okay, in 1 minute, first of all, I have to answer the question and I have to compare. So what you have to check is whether you used languages to compare. Did you use any speculation? Did you speculate? Did you answer the question? And did you use some related vocabulary? And what kind of more adjectives you can add to your answer? Adjectives are really good. Trust me, if you can add more and more adjectives, do it. Adjectives will show to the examiners that you have a wide range of vocabulary. Whenever you are just saying, okay, what can I say? Instead of just saying, for example, lake, say a picturesque lake, breathtaking lake. Instead of just saying, for example, let's say mountainous region, you can say, for example, a sleepy mountainous region. Or instead of just saying forest, you can say green, lush forest. So you see, you can use a lot of adjectives. You can add more adjectives into your answers and it looks pretty good. And if you do all the things that I mentioned throughout part 2, I'm sure within 10 practice, you're going to be fantastic at this part. It's just hard to keep you or stop you from talking. So try to have those things, stages that we talked, who, what, where, answer the question, speculating, and try to time yourself while you're doing it. Have a checklist, record your voice, practice a couple of times. This part is done. All right, so in the next video, we're going to go to part 3. We're going to talk about part 3, how we can do part 3, languages, examples just like this. And we're going to analyze a lot of different things for part 3. And hopefully you can just get a very good score in part 3 as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next lesson.